Boom. And we are live with another episode of the Brownwater Banter podcast. My name is Jared Seymour.
My name is Joey Cates.
It is Joey Cates. And in the studio, we have a good show lined up for you. We have Dennis and Margo from the Grand Bay National Estuary Research and Reserve. They're going to be talking to us. I knew I was going to be able to get that without reading it, dude. I had to click too. But I got it. They're going to be talking to us about a lot of different projects they have going on over there. And don't let the Grand Bay name confuse you. This is in Mississippi. This is a DMR sponsored episode. And they do a lot of cool stuff over there for the environment. We're going to jump into that. Joey and I actually are going to learn a lot on this one.
I don't know.
Well, you're about to find out.
You're about to learn something
today, just with the audience too. But before we do that, before we jump into it, we want to thank the people that keep this show rolling. Dr. Robbie Williams over at Southern Magnolia Smiles, man. If you're looking for a great local dentist, you can find him on Facebook and Instagram at Southern Magnolia Smiles. You can book that consultation. 2025 is almost wrapping up, dude. We're past the midpoint.
So don't even make it.
I feel like we just started saying it was 2025. But anyway, it's here to brush your teeth. So when you're ready to book that consultation, you can give them a call at 228-215-1202 and tell them that Brownwater sent you. If you find yourself needing legal representation for any reason, Taylor & Cox Law Firm is practicing law right here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast for over 30 years. That's our buddy Tyler looking sharp in the photo right here. They're in Jackson County, George County, and Greene County. They specialize in felonies, misdemeanors, DUI, family law, divorce, child custody, you name it. They can even represent you if you find yourself in the need for a BUI, if you got a little rowdy on the boat there.
It's not good.
Or didn't get rowdy and need to prove that you weren't rowdy, right? So for that consultation, you can give them a shout at 228-696-0111. And again, tell them that Brownwater sent you. And bringing up the rear for us here, this is our buddy Kendrick over at Forever Young Men and Women's Health. Look them up on Facebook. He's got a ton of videos out there with a bunch of great information to talk about how to blend. I'm just going to read it. They bring medicine, health, and exercise together to help men and women live their best lives. So if you're trying to get moving around again, you want to take your health into your own hands, let Forever Young Men and Women's Health help you do it. You can give them a shout at 228-363-6623. Kendrick will do some lab work on you and figure out if you need hormone replacement therapy or you're vitamin deficient, all kind of different stuff.
Or you're just lazy.
He can help you get back into the gym with some coaching. So all around good stuff. So we want to thank all the sponsors that help us do the show here. But Dennis, Margo, thank you all for being here this evening on this hot July day as we roll into August. We mentioned Joey and I do not know a ton about what y'all do over at the
No, we tiptoed it on it one show before, but we barely scratched the surface.
Right. So I want to jump into it for the people, for our audience as well. If you could just give us a brief introduction to yourself and how you got associated with it.
I started out going to school at Auburn for pre-vet. And so I got my degree in zoology, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, was really planning on going to vet school, totally gung-ho about it. And then I got sick, right as my senior year was happening. So I ended up having to take some time off. And then after I got better, I was like, I just want to work. So I ended up, going into marine education, and, I really enjoyed that. And that kind of landed me at my job at the NERR. And I guess just kind of a natural progression for me was, starting to write proposals to, fund some of the projects that, we wanted to do.
Okay. You said Auburn is where you went to school for your undergrad?
War Eagle.
War Eagle.
Or where are you from originally? You from
here? Yeah.
Okay.
Ocean Springs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. St. Martin guys on the other
end. There it is.
So,
I knew it was coming.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So how about you?
So I'm Margo Poston, and I have, obviously I've been around a little bit longer than you guys have. So I started way back. I don't even want to talk about how way back, but so I started with forestry, and then had an opportunity to join Peace Corps, and so I went to Peace Corps and decided that I really wanted to work more with communities and that type of work, and so I came back and I should say too that I grew up in the Midwest, but I just grew up as a Jacques Cousteau baby, so I was really in love with the ocean. So when I got back, I decided, okay, I'm gonna change this degree and I'm gonna get marine biology. So I ended up getting into the University of West Florida and marine biology degree. And the more that the more that I was getting into that, I realized that, the regulations, we really needed to look at some of the regulations and the impacts that certain things did to the environment.
Okay.
And so then I went to the University of Washington and got a marine policy degree.
Oh.
So then started looking at marine policy and how we could protect some of the species that are out there and different things that we could do through the policy route.
Okay. You said Midwest and Jacques Cousteau babies. Near the water, or was
Not
it
at
like
all.
a dream to get there?
A dream to get
I read
there.
Okay.
She read about it.
Yeah, yeah, that's even better. We take
National
it,
Geographic.
we take it for
magazine.
granted because it's there in our backyard. But
Yeah.
you had to dream about it to get there
Yes.
like that. You earned it. We just
Yeah.
kind of born into it. So you got is that a separate in marine policy?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a graduate degree.
Okay.
Master's,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. And then how did you end up in
Well,
Biloxi, Mississippi?
Biloxi, Mississippi.
Yeah.
As it turns out, fell in love with the Gulf Coast, right? I was in,
Right.
I was in
love to hear that.
Pensacola,
I love
right?
to hear that.
Fell in love with the Gulf Coast. So once I was in Washington, as I was trying to get back, ended up getting a job with Apalachicola Research Reserve.
Sweet.
It's one of our sister reserves. And then this position came available for the coordinator position. And so I applied and they hired, and here I am.
Okay.
Sweet.
Nice.
Apalachicola got some good oysters.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They do
Wonderful
indeed. Yep.
oysters.
Thing about oysters is they taste good.
Yeah.
So then do you hire on both y'all? This is a question for both of you. Do you hire on DMR first and then end up at the NERR, or do they bring you straight to that facility? How does that work?
Yeah, so it's kind of, we are DMR employees.
Right.
So yeah, we have folks from all kinds of different places there, but you don't necessarily have to go and have a job, at that office to come work in our office.
Okay.
Well, somebody explain what it is and where it is, because when you hear Grand Bay, you're thinking Alabama, but we're still in the good old state of Mississippi, right?
Mhm.
Right. Well, so all of these reserves are set up similar the same way. There's like 30 of them around the country right now. They're research reserves. It's a 30%. It's a partnership between NOAA and a state agency. Our state agency, or sometimes it's just an organization
Right.
or a university. Our state agency happens to be DMR. So it's a 70% 30 split. There's 30 of these reserves around the country. They're all basically set up the same way, where you have 4 core programs. Those core programs are research, stewardship, training and engagement, and education. Right now, there's 30 of these. They're working on one in Atchafalaya Basin
Right.
in Louisiana, which
Yeah.
is trying to come online. They're working on one in Green Bay, Michigan, and then another one that's down the line a little ways is going to be in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Oh wow.
So
What is
yeah.
Green Bay? Where's that at? I mean, is that around a lake?
Yeah.
Yeah. There is fresh
Oh,
water.
it's Green Bay,
yeah,
Wisconsin. I said
yeah.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Actually, it's Michigan. I think they have one across the way.
So
in
another
Wisconsin.
Grand Bay
Another-
situation.
Yeah. But we are in we call it Grand Bay down here because we're on the Grand Bay. All right, it's not the bay that we have, Middle Bay, Grand Bay.
Right.
That's why they call it Grand Bay.
Okay. And for people listening, I just realized it's like Franklin Creek
Franklin Creek.
exit,
Yeah.
and it's still Moss Point, which I didn't realize Moss Point went that far east either. So
You can.
we're all
you
learning
can
today.
walk to the state line.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all.
Oh,
yeah.
Three
Yeah.
3
When
miles.
we go out of,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
bayou, you can, the state line's right there, and then we end up right back in this.
Right.
So you got to have boat fishing license.
And go through customs.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So you kind of touched on it just now about like what it is y'all do. Can you dive deeper into that, like your core mission statement or what you're set up to design to do?
Actually, we're designed to, manage the land. That's what our stewardship group does. And then to conduct research out there. Our research sector, they do their own research, but then they also invite other researchers to come in and to do research in our facility. And we help support that by, helping them get out there with boats, helping them design, knowing where they can go. Like if they're looking at seagrass, we know where the seagrass is. We can go out there. If they're looking at marsh grass, then we could take them out different areas to help facilitate their research. And what we do is training and engagement. So we train. So our audiences are elected and appointed officials. It's land managers, it's landowners, it's college students. That's going to be the future professionals.
Right.
So we whatever those needs may be, right? It may be plant identification. It may be wetland delineation. So right now we're working on a wetlands delineation course for non-delineators, for the permitters, so that when they go out, like if someone's going to put in a septic tank, they want to make sure that septic tank is not in a wetlands, right? So that permitter needs to be able to go out and look around and to determine if that's a wetlands or not. So we're working on a course for that.
Now is that going to be like, so like I've dealt with that like in commercial real estate. So is that those people that come in and survey that you hire when you're trying to buy a piece of property to do that?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. How does that break down? What are you looking for to delineate something as wetlands?
There's different indicators out there. So, you look at the soil, because soil kind of, it determines what plants are going to grow there. If it's a wet soil, it's going to grow wet plants, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plants that love the more wet soil. So you can look at those kind of indicators. You'll look at the different soils, whether it's oxidized or not. You could look at like the buttress of a tree, to see if it's kind of fluted out to where it sits in water half part of the time. But then you can do also like in the office kind of research where you'd go to like USGS maps to see if it's in a floodplain or a river plain or whatever. So some of those things.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Vegetation
Really cool.
Gives it away most of the time.
Most of the time. Yeah.
Do y'all go over like the endangered plant species that would be on a piece of property that you can't, you know what I mean? Like that are protected?
You can't even mess with.
Well, we do in our plants, when we go out and we maybe do a plant ID course, then we point those out. That would be part of the plants that we would show. We have a couple of staff out there, which by the way, I just got to give some kudos to our staff, because we got some of the best staff in the world. I think there's about 20 of us out there, and we all get along really well. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know how often you guys argue.
No, I don't like that.
From time to time.
But there's like 20 of us, and we get along well. We we help each other out. It's just it's a true team out there.
That's awesome.
But we have some really good plant ID people, that plant ecologists, I should say. Emmett, she goes out and she's really done a lot of work with our herbarium.
Right.
And I know that we have recorded over 750 plants out there. Some of them are very rare. We have there is one plant out there that's pretty unique, that it actually blooms in the moonlight.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
cool.
a very rare, and
that is cool.
Yeah.
And Andrew, he's the one that really kind of identified that plant and found it for the first time, I think, on the reserve. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. But we go out there on field trips all the time. I'm a teacher as well. I bring the kids out there, and I didn't realize that one of the pine trees that we have, I guess the short pine trees, short needle pines. I don't know what they call it.
Pine?
I don't know whatever ones you got on the NERR that it requires fire to grow.
Okay.
I think we talked about it on the show before.
The
Didn't
long
we? Yeah.
I didn't realize it'll stay
tree.
dormant until a fire comes around, and then it'll grow. It's crazy.
Is that through the pine cone of that tree? Is that how that works?
Yeah, the seeds. Yeah, the seeds stay dormant until the fire like clears the ground floor, and the seeds stay dormant until they get that heat, and then they'll sprout.
That's
crazy.
That is crazy.
Another really unique thing about the longleaf is that so the first several years it puts all of its energy into growing that taproot, right? It goes down, but then they stay in this grass stage for a really long time, and they have like the apex. I don't think you probably call it apex, but it's it's like the point where it grows from.
Right.
And one way of protecting itself is it's kind of a lighter color, so it kind of reflects the light, and then it also will steam, like it'll like when the fire's coming through, it'll give off a little bit of water, so that it's protecting itself. But after that fire comes through, then it shoots up to get above the next fire. So it's a really unique plant.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah,
I'm assuming it knows it's going to get more sunlight after that fire too, because the underbrush has been burned, right? Stuff like that.
And it just shoots up, and so then it's ready. They call that the candlestick stage. And so it's ready for the next fire to come through. It's up above that fire, because it's mostly grass, so it's not a very high fire. It's just a really unique tree that's out there.
Yeah, all the species out there are, adapted for fire, which is amazing to think about, I mean, and it's supposed to happen, 2 to 5 years, and those things, they just bounce back. It's just really
pretty amazing.
Yeah. Designed to survive.
Yeah. Tell us about some of the critters y'all got running around out there.
Alligators.
Yeah.
Well, we got the gator farm right next door.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. No, we don't see too many of those, but yeah, we do have everything from gators to bald eagles to salt marsh snakes, redfish, speckled trout, all that stuff.
God's
Yeah,
country.
occasionally we'll get manatees. Towards the end of the
That's
summer,
sweet.
they'll actually come in. We'll see those guys.
Lots of dolphins.
Lots of dolphin. Yeah,
Nice.
that was cool. That one time we took a bunch of kids out. I don't remember what school they were from.
I think it was Gaucher, yeah, and they were 8th graders.
It was just crazy because we just hit it just right. There was like a pod of dolphin that were, we weren't even very far offshore.
No.
And there was like probably 20 of them. And they were just like jumping
in the wake.
Those kids were freaking out.
You've blown my mind.
We had, we were pulling a trawl and, pulling stuff up. We could have caught a mermaid in that net. It wouldn't have mattered. They saw dolphins.
That's right.
Like jumping in the,
What type of boat are y'all on when y'all are taking these field trips out? I'm assuming that's what that was.
Yeah, it's a 36-foot tank basically. And it's a great, it's an amazing boat. It's
outriggers on and everything. You say you pulling a trawl?
Yeah, it doesn't have any outriggers.
Okay, so
we're doing that.
We're
going down and dirty with that. So there's been a learning curve. So
we tie it onto one of the canopy bars and throw it over.
Yeah.
Okay, it's got the doors, but
okay,
he knows it better because he gets to pull it in after it's full. So
that's fun.
Yeah. The fisheries guys, we got to give them a shout out because they hooked us up on that.
They really helped us.
We would have had no clue.
Yeah.
It's always amazed me, and we've done things with USM as well. When you dump that net and you see all the sea creatures that come out, it like blows kids' mind. Kind of like when we were young, we threw cast net, and when you picked it up, it had like shrimp, crabs. Just always blew kids' minds when they drop that and the stuff goes everywhere.
My dad would take me shrimping when I was young.
Yeah,
That same boat we got now, right? He bought it back, but it really did. Like you dropped the catch out there on the picking box, and just like when you're a kid, you're like, what is all this stuff? And I'm digging through all this stuff when you're really supposed to be pulling the shrimp out. I'm like playing with the blowfish,
right,
blowing him
like
up, throwing him over, watching him go by, get in trouble for nothing. Hurry up, we don't even need to play. But it really is cool.
Well, going back to our boat, it's so she's a big boat. We call her the Miss NERR. That was the director Spraggins decided to name it, and it holds 23 passengers and 2 crew. So
sweet.
That's
so
nice.
If you guys want to take your class out, just get a hold of us and we can make that happen.
There you go. So you mentioned that y'all's job specifically there. It's more, did you say the education, or did I get that wrong?
Well, we're part of the outreach sector. Yeah.
Okay.
We're
sort of yeah. So outreach is the broad topic that's got, education and also, the training and engagement stuff that we do, which Margo just talked about. Right? You talked about?
Yeah. Outreach meaning like the community, and then teaching being, like you said, like your future wildlife and game type people, stuff like that are going to be in the field.
Right. Yeah. And some of that bleeds over. A lot of times it does.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I had several grant projects that were, involving I had one for high school kids, and we'd bring them out, 2 days, and we'd spend 3 days in the classroom, and we took them out on the boat, and we'd do like restoration stuff with them. And then, I had another program where we would, it was kind of a water quality thing, like in the community. So this was with 8th grade students, and wow, they're completely different than high school kids.
Throwing stuff, breaking stuff.
So it's it was definitely a learning curve for me for sure. But we took them and we kind of talked to them about like water quality and how that relates to them, and living on the coast and kind of things like that. So it does bleed over, in some of the categories, but I think like a main focus of ours now is the stormwater stuff that we do in Moss Point.
Yeah.
So we talked earlier. Let's dive into that.
Let's nerd out on that one.
So as he was saying, part of what we do, and we used to do a lot more, but we still meet our quota of what we're supposed to get as far as like trainings and such, because there's a need out there for the trainings. But just like he said, just recently we've been kind of working on some projects with Moss Point. So, and these projects are green infrastructure, and I'll let Dennis explain what the green infrastructure is.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, traditional stormwater infrastructure, right? It's designed to carry lots of water fast, right? Get it out of there, get it somewhere else. Well, the problem is that a lot of times when, the city gets bigger, that stuff doesn't grow with the city, right? So you've got more people and more, surfaces that don't absorb water. And so those get dilapidated over time. So what green infrastructure does is, paired with that is kind of tries to take off some of the pressure that's, going on the gray infrastructure by, taking parts of that water, holding it and slowly releasing it back into the groundwater. And that can be, things like rain gardens, which are basically, gardens, they look nice, they can add property value, but underneath they've got some very porous soil, some gravel underneath that allows that rainwater to soak back in within 72 hours.
Okay. Is this something that's on people's personal properties, or would this be on something?
Yeah, it can be.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But we're looking at, we have one project at Creole Elementary right now. And that one, is on school property, and we've got 170-foot bioswale, along with 5 additional rain gardens in the parking lot. And so that absorbs, a lot of water coming off the street and also from the parking lot and the building.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to imagine how much water is coming off of that building. But they were having flooding issues with water coming off and then flowing back into the school. But there's just so much water on that on that parking lot, and then also from the street. And so, as Dennis said, we installed right in front of the school. We installed 5 rain gardens, and then the bioswale, which also has rain gardens. And I was just at a meeting just not long ago there, and they were talking about how effective it's been so far.
Really?
They haven't flooded since. When we first was trying to find a place to do this project, then we were driving around town when it was raining, and we noticed that at Creole they were loading kids up on the school bus because it's high, and then taking them off site to a church so that parents could come pick them up because they couldn't get into the parking lot because there was so much water out there.
Yeah,
so,
concrete doesn't do a very good job of
it doesn't soak up anything.
Yeah.
But you still need it, it goes in tandem with the green stuff.
Yeah,
it's
and I'll just back up a little bit. So what these projects are about are 2 things. It's to try to help reduce flooding in Moss Point, and then also to try to prevent some of the non-point source pollution. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that term, non-point source pollution.
Is that like runoff stuff from like a parking lot that ends up? Yeah,
it's like
fertilizers,
sediment,
oil,
fertilized oils and such. So way back in 1972, when they did the Clean Water Act, Nixon, who was the president at the time, signed that into law, and they were really good at doing the point source pollution. So they targeted, at the end of the pipe. So you might have industry that's just putting pollutants out in the environment, and they got a really good handle on that. And we don't really have a problem with that anymore. But the problem that we have now is with the non-point, because it's ubiquitous. And everybody contributes to it.
Right.
And you can't really, you drive your car, it has a leak, and that becomes non-point source pollution when the water comes off. So these systems, as it takes in the water off the street or off the parking lots, then these systems, the water flows into them. You've got the plants there, so they're cleaning. They're filtering out some of those pollutants,
right.
And because everything that hits the street is eventually going to get into the bays, right? And when it gets into the bays or our marshes, it impacts those marshes. And bringing it back to your audience about fishing, it's like 70-80% of our commercial fishes. They have nurseries. They come inshore.
Right. Oh,
If you don't have those marshes, then you're not going to have those fishes. So being able to reduce some of the non-point source pollution that impacts the health of the bay and the marshes, it's just a good thing. It's good for the fishermen and just the environment.
Yeah, that's a killer T-shirt idea. What you just say? Don't have marshes, don't have fishes.
That's right.
It's like the should have marketed that. Yeah.
Yes, nurseries.
I said that.
Yeah, you got it.
It's video documented. So
That's right.
You're good. What are some of the other research-based stuff that is going on out there at your facility?
Boy.
Whether y'all are involved with it or not, but like some of the bigger stuff that's going on, what are we looking at out
well, one of the big ones, and a lot of the research that goes on, we hear about it, but we don't know the details. You're going to have to ask Jen DeBose, who is our research coordinator.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
you have to get her in next month. So,
Okay.
But
Oh,
ahead.
you're gonna put me on the
Yeah,
spot?
yes, we want to throw you under the
Yeah.
bus. Under the bus for that
You are in the hot seat,
source.
too.
All right, yeah, this is the what do you call it, the Batman?
That's Batman
seat?
Robin.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so so a lot of what we do is monitoring, right? So we're doing water quality monitoring of the reserve. There are 4
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Sounds
Cassie will be upset that I didn't get this right. There are 4 stations, right, throughout the reserve, and those monitor water quality continuously. They also take water samples and look at that stuff as well. And then there's land-based monitoring where we're looking at the savannas and things that all goes back into our management that we do there. So it kind of feeds back into itself. And then there are all kinds of other ones going on that
one such as
Oh, okay.
another monitoring. I thought you were looking for help.
Yeah, I was. Please. Yes.
Bail me out. Yeah, bail me out.
I'm in. So one of the other ones of the monitoring that we're doing is the fish monitoring.
Yeah,
So I can't remember how many times a year we go out, but we go out, we have a seine net, which we have permission, we've had permission for. And we just do species size.
It's a gill net.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a naughty word.
Yeah,
yeah,
I know.
Word, yeah.
If it's for research.
Yeah.
But it's
And so we monitor the different fish we catch there. So that's one of the other monitors. But we also just recently, I guess a couple of years ago, we had some reefs that were put in over there, and so they're doing some monitoring on the benthic communities. I'm not sure if they're still continuing that, but they go out every now and then and they'll do a population benthic. They'll get a sample of soil and then go through it to see the different the different types of species that might be in that soil. I know that we are getting ready, and I don't know how political it is, but we're looking at adding some dredge material to one of the islands that are out there that's disappearing. I don't know a lot of the details
Round
about
Island?
that. No, it's not Round. It's further
not
east.
Round? Okay.
Further east of that. Grandpa Tours.
I think so, yeah.
I think it might be Grandpa Tours because the whole environment there, that whole that bay is quickly disappearing
Right.
because a lot of it, the road that comes through 90, the railroad track, it's stopped all that overland sediment flow, and so there's really it's not being replenished with sediment.
Right.
So it's eventually they call it a retrograding delta, and it's because it's basically sediment starved.
Yeah.
So we're looking at maybe adding some sediment to
Bringing it back to life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens naturally too. It's part of the system. That's why we have a NERR there, because it's kind of transitioning from this closed water, partially enclosed estuary environment to a more open saline environment. So it's kind of a cool thing to to study and watch.
Mhm.
So.
I saw a map the other day, and it had all of the islands that we know and Mobile, and it was just one solid. It used to be one solid island, like Dolphin Island, Horn Island, Ship Island, all connected.
connected.
I
Yeah,
believe it,
it was
yeah.
crazy.
Well, you
And I've
hear
never
of-
seen that before.
You hear of old timers saying, "Oh, I could just walk out to Deer Island, and I wouldn't even get my feet wet."
Right.
So
Yeah, it's not
I
the
believe
case.
it.
It's not the case
Yeah.
now.
No, not at all.
Are you still involved, or anybody out there where you're at with policy? That's your background. You said originally, are y'all doing any kind of research to try to affect policy or write any policy?
That's a good question. I could say probably not.
Okay.
Not right at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say no.
No,
Okay.
just hanging out there. So, as the regular Jimmy and Joe, what can we do to going back to your green stuff to help stop the runoff in our driveways? To help, all the oils, the stuff that's coming out of the driveways, the fertilizers. What can we do? Just a regular person.
Well, I love this one because I'm going to use. So you remember cousin Eddie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't do that. don't dump stuff down the storm
Yeah.
drain. You
Yeah.
know, like that goes into our waterways, and and it always starts with, oh, it's not gonna. I'm just dumping a 1 can of paint down here. It's not gonna matter. But if everybody does that, that's
That's a bunch of
problem.
cans of paint.
Yeah. And so that's a really good one. Also, don't throw your leaf clippings, in the ditches in front of your house. Those also can convey stormwater, and those can get clogged up pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then once that starts clogging up, it backs up, and so then it's it's picking up those pollutants as it floods the parking lots and such.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about stuff? Did you like outreach stuff for the general public? Have we talked about field trips and stuff like that? But can the general public come out there? Do y'all have any type of classes where it's like, I was trying to look through your Facebook page here with like water, not quality. Thank you. I was gonna say clarity. I'm like, that's not the word I'm looking for. Water quality study. Anything you can teach the public to like make us better citizens, like kind of what you're talking about there.
Well, I think every time a group of kids or a community, when they come out there, we try to give them a message
Right.
about why they should appreciate what the things that the reserve does, right? What nature does, right? And so we try to give them a sense of the importance of the environment, and then to get them appreciated, because if you appreciate something, then you're going to protect it, right? But we have we don't have anything like a canned program that we do over and over and over. That we could say, well, Monday of every month we're going to do this.
Gotcha.
But we have different types of things. So we have some batik art that we get people to come to, and then they go out into the woods. They get inspired. They come back, and then they do this batik art, which is with wax.
It's pretty popular too.
It is very popular, and we do watercolors, right? So people can go out and they can get inspired, and then come back and put it down. And it's really, they are popular. People really love doing that.
Now that's an art, like something that they do there with y'all. Like go out to y'all's place, look around, and then come back and paint something. Am I hearing you right?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
it's usually like a weekend gig.
Yeah, so we have dorms out there, so people could come and they can stay and then participate in this class. Yeah.
And again, this is the general public.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it a fee? Does it cost money, or do you just show up?
Just most
I
of the
think
time
those are
it's show
still
up.
free, yeah. And if there's a cost, it's super
Very
low,
low,
just to cover like food or something,
Right. I didn't know you could stay out there. That's pretty cool.
It's not. It's not
peaceful. Yeah, it has to be like
associated with the program.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
You
don't want to send the wrong message.
Yeah.
So the general public can stay there. It's got to be associated.
If you're paying,
love us for that. Yeah.
A lot of people showing up here lately. What's going on?
The RV.
Yeah. That's right.
Really.
Cousin Eddie. Yeah.
But we also
exactly.
have certain
Cousin
times of the years that we do have specific programs, like coming up the end of September, we have our Seaside with a Scientist.
Okay.
So we have our scientists that are out there, and then we put them on our boat. And Chevron, they're really good partners. They bring a boat over, and then we take people out into the estuary. We stop at all the different stations where the scientists are out there that can talk about the different birds that might be out there, marsh birds that are out there that they have done studies on. There's nothing ongoing right now, but they have done some.
Right.
And then they talk about those. They use the bird calls, try to get them to come up. And then there's games and stuff that we have there at the building too. And then Star Party. I'll let Dennis talk about the Star Party.
Oh yeah, Star Party is a good one. It's
That's a fun one.
Yeah, it coincides with the it coincides with the Geminids meteor shower, which is in December, right? And it's like a holiday party too, right? So we do like hay rides down to our dock where there's no lights. You can see the meteors. Well,
better.
You're supposed to be able to see the meteors, but it is cloudy every year we do that. But Santa Claus is there, so the kids still have a good time, and
soup and cookies.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, I love it. I get to ham it up on the hayride, and we used to have an ugly Christmas sweater. But he's won every year, so we stopped doing it.
Yeah.
So,
I had to retire my sweaters like Jordan, man.
Yeah.
That's sign.
The goat.
Yeah.
But it was a disadvantage, he was on the hayride, so he really hammed it up on the hayride.
That's right.
Paid people to vote for him.
Right. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Joe losers.
That's right.
Joey.
You ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's how I live my life all day.
That's right.
Yeah.
We really do have like a unique situation down here where we live, and all the different types of wildlife species, and like you say, like the bayous and the ecosystem down here. Like I think I don't say we take it for granted, but we take it for granted.
Yeah.
If you're just from here, you just always see it. And then I go somewhere else, I'm like, man, home is pretty cool, where we come from. I mean,
well, you bring somebody else down here and they go down the beach and they're doing this.
Yeah.
And we're doing this. We've seen it 1,000 times, you know what I'm saying? We just bypass it.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't really realize it until you live somewhere else for a while too. You know, like when I went away to college, man, like freshwater fishing just is
it
not
ain't
the same.
You know, I'm sorry, guys. At first, I mean,
It's like kissing
cool.
your sister.
That's tough. I've never been like Alaskan, like salmon or fly fishing. I think that would be pretty wild. That would be cool. But yeah, for the most part, like when I think of freshwater, it's still cool. But it ain't as cool. Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What else you got?
No, that's where, if we want to get in touch or find these programs, where would we go?
grandbay.org.
And all those are
website.
Listed.
GrandBayNERR.org.
Grandbay,
Yeah.
Is it Grandbay NERR?
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It's Grandbay NERR.
You might want to Google it first.
Yeah, I'm trying to look right now. GrandBayNERR.org.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
And I'm sure you can get there from the DMR website.
Yeah,
somewhere down the road.
Yeah, for sure.
If I could,
Yep.
just go back about some of the green infrastructure projects that we have.
Absolutely.
So he talked about the EPA project, which was the first grant that we got. It was really important, and then from that grant, we've been able to leverage other projects.
Right.
And one of the big projects that we're working on right now that we're really excited about is the stormwater park. So there's a part of Moss Point that is notorious for flooding, right?
Okay.
And it just so happens that right adjacent to that is the St. Joseph Catholic Church. They have this big field out there that they really don't do anything with. And so we've talked with them and the city, and I can't say enough about Mayor Knight, because we've been looking at wanting to do this type of work forever, you know, talking to some of the elected municipal officials and such.
Mm-hmm.
And it's taken a really long time to get to the point where we had the money coming in and then also the support from the municipality. And Mayor Knight is just awesome. But so the stormwater park is where what a stormwater park is that it's a park, and during when it's dry, people enjoy it like a regular park, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's open space, which open space is really important for green infrastructure because it can absorb a lot of water. So then when it rains, it does absorb a lot of water. So what we want to do is pull a lot of the water that's coming towards this neighborhood and have it diverted into this stormwater park so that when it rains, it's going to be filled up with water, and it's designed to hold that water for about 72 hours so you don't have insect problems.
That's what to ask. Mosquitoes.
Yeah. So
that's
it should
huge,
drain.
Yeah. That and snakes are.
But
huge.
it will keep that water from going down into that neighborhood. So, but then when it's dry, the neighborhood has a really nice park.
What does that look like? Obviously, I can see like a storm.
Yeah.
Well, I can see like a storm drain diverting the water, right? Like a concrete type drain. Am I right here? Yeah, culvert. And then where does it end up? I mean, is it just dumping it on the ground?
Dumping it in that parameter, within that parameter of that park.
Okay.
So the middle of it is going to be sloped a little bit.
Okay.
On each end, it's going to have a drain that it'll eventually, when the water gets high enough, it'll overfill into these drains, and then it'll eventually go back into the system. But they're all designed. All of these green infrastructure systems are designed to relieve, to take some of the pressure off of the municipal system.
Right.
And if you can do that and retain it for just a little while to let that first flush go through,
Right.
then it's not overwhelmed, right? It can do it slowly. So that's the whole idea behind all of that. So
what else prep wise do you have to do to that field? Is it ready to go after you slope it? Or?
Yeah, that's an engineer question. So yeah, and that's something that
there you go. Yeah. Just know it's going to be expensive.
Yeah, we're definitely not the experts at this. Like that's what we do is like we pull all the experts together, and we get everybody working together and sharing the same information and things like that. So yeah, it's that another cool part about that park though is that all the community input that we got to make that in designing that we actually we did we called it a community design group where we got people that lived in that area and got them together and they helped design this thing. Right. Not all the underground stuff that we don't know what's going on with it, right? But like what it's going to look like, how it's going to function for them as a community,
what they wanted in their park.
Yeah.
And that was actually a fun part of the project is
it's
getting
like
them in there.
Dual purpose, right? You're saying you can utilize it as a regular park when it's not raining, and then like you said, that initial downpour, that big flood, all that water all at once, if you just have some type of place you can send it till it stops raining and then slowly release it, it won't be as devastating to the area. Makes sense.
And the flash floods this year are more and more common. It's
man.
crazy.
Yeah.
Especially the one in Texas. That was terrible.
Yes. Yeah. I saw the video from that.
Yeah.
I still don't even really understand how all that
No.
happened, to be
I don't
honest
know.
with you.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was a lot of water really fast.
Yeah.
So I did drop the link to your Facebook page in the comments below, and also to the grandbayNERR.org. So
Great.
both of those places
Great.
people can go and check it out. And just briefly looking at it myself, it looks like the website's got some cool stuff on there, like
Yeah.
some photos and all
Yeah.
of what you do. So
And we're actually, Dennis has done a really fantastic job on creating a website for all the projects that we're doing. It's you talk a little bit about it, but and we're getting close to putting it, make it live and to go and be active. But you could talk a little bit about what it's for.
Oh yeah, it's going to showcase like all of our green infrastructure projects, and it's also going to be like a resource for like stormwater professionals, you know, in the area. So and that's another thing that was really kind of beneficial that came out of, you know, what we're doing, is, you know, getting all these folks together, like from Moss Point and Pascagoula and Jackson County, and talking to each other was really cool to see that kind of happen. And so that, you know, that kind of, you know, was where the website came out of that.
is that a separate website?
Yeah, it will be a separate website, and we'll release that soon. I don't think we can say the name yet, though,
No,
so.
not yet.
It's top secret.
It's not been
Top
approved,
secret,
so
man.
they-
Yeah.
So, well, if y'all wouldn't mind sliding that over to us whenever you get it live,
Yeah.
shoot us an email or something. We'll post it to send people that way.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
There'll be a lot of educational stuff on there, so people can learn more about what green infrastructure is, what it does. It'll show them different places in the area that they can go to see it. It'll be contacts, so if they wanted more information about it, they can get a hold of us. But we're hoping that other people who have these type of projects will also want to put their projects on there, just so that, you know, just to get it so that people really understand what it is and the benefits from it. And there are a lot of benefits. You know, we could just go on about it, but it you know, it improves, you know, home value. So if you have like a stormwater park or some of these, because it really greens up the neighborhood, right? It reduces flooding. We had a big community meeting, and there was actually a realtor that came by and said, you know, if you do this, we can sell houses better, because people will buy because they know it's not going to flood.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of benefits from not just from reducing flood and non-point source pollution, but you know, the communities are safer because people are out on their street. They want to be out on their street because it's beautiful, so that less crime. Increases home value. If you put it near your house, like trees near your house, and it'll reduce energy bills. So there's just a lot of benefits to it.
Cool.
Looks better than a ditch for sure.
It looks better in the parking lot.
That too. Yeah.
So like I said, both of those are linked below. When y'all get that new website up and running, that'll be cool. It's to be able to see all the projects, the green projects that y'all are doing. Send it to us and we can share it out on our social platforms. So we thank y'all for your time. Stephen stopping by and talking with us.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely, all the time. The DMR episodes have become some of our most favorite episodes, just because
Learned a lot.
we either learn a lot that when we know we didn't know it, or like with Trevor and the snapper stuff, sometimes we think we know it and then we realize that we don't know it. So you know, it's always
we're the wrong or don't know it.
Yeah.
It's the only two options.
Or both.
Yeah.
Or both. So thanks everybody for watching on the lives and the replay, man. If you don't have the app already, the Brownwater Banter app, go download it, the App Store and Google Play. You can see all of our past episodes. They're right inside of the app. You don't have to worry about the algorithm. Anytime we have any information, we send it straight through there, push notifications. We don't spam a whole lot because we're